Welcome back to Blue Times 2. So before I get into part 2 of this video, I wanted to add that my twins are identical. They told me that at my ultrasound, and I forgot to include that in part 1 of my video, but I asked the questions that everybody asks a pregnant mom of twins. If you are pregnant with twins and you haven't been asked these questions yet, you will be asked these questions, especially if you're having identical twins. My first question for the ultrasound technician was, do twins run in families? I knew they didn't run in my family. I think my husband has some distant twins way far out in his family. They're nowhere in our immediate families. I asked her that, and she did explain that fraternal twins do run in families and identical twins don't. They're just random, they happen, and they're not really sure why the egg decides to split somewhere along the line, but identical twins do not run in families. If you haven't been asked that question yet, be prepared. Somebody's gonna ask you, oh, do they run in your family? Believe me, they will. The second question I asked the ultrasound technician was, how do you already know they're identical? That's another question people ask me all the time. And it's perfectly fine. I obviously ask those same questions too, because who knows? But the ultrasound technician explained to me that my identical twins are in 2 amniotic sacs, but they're feeding from 1 placenta. So they're each attached to my 1 placenta, as opposed to fraternal twins who are in 2 sacs and have 2 placentas. I thought I would include that before I get into my part 2 of the identical twin pregnancy update. If you haven't already seen part 1 of this video, go ahead and check that out now. I talk about when I found out I was pregnant, when I found out they were twins. I show my gender reveal in that video. If you haven't seen it, go ahead, check it out, and then come back to this video. It'll give you a little bit of background on why I decided to start a YouTube channel in the first place, and then on my pregnancy so far. But for this video, let's go ahead and get into my symptoms and how I'm doing at 17 weeks pregnant with identical twins. Up until now, I have had a multitude of pregnancy symptoms. I'll break it up into first trimester and second trimester. Some of my symptoms have been consistent and haven't gone away. Some have gone away, and some have actually shown up now in my second trimester. But I've had trouble sleeping, I've had headaches, morning sickness, I've been super tired, my back has hurt, I always have to pee, I've had cravings, aversions to certain foods, heartburn has been really bad. So those are all of the symptoms I have experienced up until now in my pregnancy. I'll start off, like I said, with trimester 1. In the beginning, I was really tired all the time. I remember saying to my husband, I know that this baby, because I only thought it was 1 at the time, I know that this baby is so small, but it has made me feel so different already. I really felt pregnant. I really felt different. I felt tired. In addition to my fatigue, I was also having morning sickness every day during the first trimester. And when I say morning sickness, it was really mild, but it happened every day. I woke up every morning sick, and I realized that once I ate breakfast, had lots of water, then the morning sickness would go away. But the feeling would always come back if I went too long without eating. So it was really annoying because it's that vicious cycle of, I feel nauseous and terrible and I don't even want to eat anything, but I also know that that's what's going to help me feel better, so that's how my morning sickness worked. Other than fatigue and morning sickness in the beginning, I really didn't have many other symptoms. I did experience like 1 craving. It was weird. I woke up in the middle of the night and thought, if I don't eat an Uncrustable right now, I think I'm gonna die. I wanted a grape Uncrustable. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. They're little peanut butter and jelly sandwiches that don't have any crust on them. Something in the middle of the night really made me want Uncrustables specifically. What's interesting about the cravings that I have had, that one and then all of the other cravings that I've had throughout my pregnancy, I'll crave it badly. I'll really want it, eat it, and then never want to see it, touch it, eat it ever again in my life. As I'm sitting here editing this video, I realized I totally forgot to include all of my other cravings that I had. I had the Uncrustable craving in the beginning, but then it really was for sweet things. So I craved an apple turnover at one point. I craved Nerds. I crave pies and really just sweet desserty things. My aversions now haven't so much been like, ugh, I don't want to have one specific kind of food. It really just depends on the day and the time of day. What I want is always a struggle. It's always a struggle to figure out what I want to eat, which is totally not consistent with me. I am such a foodie. I love to eat all the time, and to be so picky about every single stupid meal that I eat is really annoying. So I don't really have aversions specifically. It's just like, very rarely do I find exactly what I want to eat for a certain meal. Things just kind of sound bleh to me all the time whenever I'm trying to think of what I want to eat. So yes, that's the part of the cravings and aversions that I totally left out, but I had the Uncrustables craving and then really a lot of sweets. So here we go, back to the video. Other than the craving for Uncrustables, I really didn't have many aversions in the beginning. I also didn't have smell sensitivity. That surfaced a little bit more in the second trimester. Moving along to my second trimester symptoms, around 13 weeks, I actually started getting headaches just about every day. The headaches haven't really subsided. They happen just about every day. And I've tried cold compresses, I try that. I try to reduce the stimulation and not have a lot of light, activity, sound. I have no problem staying hydrated, and still the headaches are bad. That has been a symptom of mine. Also, I've had heartburn recently. It's not all the time, and it's also not predictable. I don't know what food in particular triggers my heartburn. I think it's just the fact that everything's slowing down, and I've read that heartburn can happen because you're just not processing the food the same way you used to, and so since everything is going to the babies, you're suffering because you're not able to digest food as quickly. So I've just tried to eat smaller meals more frequently throughout the day, and that's easy anyway because I get full pretty fast. I forgot a symptom that has been consistent from the first trimester to now, and that is peeing all the time. It reminded me when I was talking about staying hydrated. Like I said, I have never had any problem staying hydrated. I've always been a huge water drinker. I'm used to going to the bathroom a lot during the day when I'm not pregnant, but man, let me tell you, pregnancy heightens that big time. I feel like I am just chained to the bathroom. I'm pretty sure that if you asked me to go to the bathroom at any point of the day, I could make something come out because I just have to go to the bathroom all the time. That has been annoying, but it's all part of the package and I'll take it. Trouble sleeping is something that has happened more towards the second trimester. I will wake up in the middle of the night around 2 o'clock in the morning. I will wake up and be completely wide awake. Like, okay, I'm ready to wake up and go start my day. Some nights it's taken me a really long time just to fall asleep in the first place. It could partially be due to the fact that I kind of obsess over how I'm sleeping. I really want to make sure I sleep on my left side, but sometimes I roll on my right, sometimes I roll on my back, but I think that kind of keeps me up sometimes because I really just want to be mindful of staying on the left. In the second trimester, I also noticed certain times my sense of smell is whack. I am really sensitive to savory chicken smells. There was a day that my husband was boiling chicken noodle soup. I had to run out of the house because it disgusted me and repulsed me that much. That's usually a really comforting smell. Chicken noodle soup, who doesn't love that? But it wasn't just that time. I've noticed it a lot. That real savory, poultry, chicken broth, terrible smell. Right now it's terrible to me. So that's been the one smell aversion that I've noticed, and just my sense of smell is heightened big time. But going back to fatigue and peeing all the time have been the two symptoms that have stayed with me from the beginning. I think in the first trimester, I was extremely tired because I was overexerting myself and not making any lifestyle modifications due to my pregnancy. I thought it was only one, so I didn't think I needed to totally cut out all of my work and my exercising that I was doing. I thought I was just getting extra tired. I thought I could just keep doing what I was doing and be pregnant because I saw a lot of other people doing that too. Looking back now, I think I was probably doing way too much that first trimester, and that's why I was so tired. In the second trimester is when I got the news that I was pregnant with twins, so I really did cut back on my activity level. I'm really cautious about overexerting myself. I make sure I rest and put my feet up as much as I possibly can. That helps, kind of, but my fatigue has just gotten worse and worse and worse. For any of you out there who are pregnant with multiples and haven't heard this, something I've heard and I'm experiencing firsthand is that the fatigue actually doesn't get better, it gets worse throughout the whole pregnancy. You'll hear a lot of moms of singletons say, oh, just wait for the second trimester. All your bad symptoms go away and you're gonna just coast. It's gonna be great. You're gonna have energy again. Then the third trimester, you get so big that you lose your energy because you're so tired from all the weight you're carrying around. But I've heard, I've read, and I'm feeling that it is different when you have multiples because you have so much going to both babies, so much energy, so much of your life is going to them that it really wipes you out. I liken myself to an old iPhone 6 with a terrible battery. I see myself as this little iPhone 6. I've been charging all night. I pull the charger out, and if you know what I'm talking about, if you don't put any demand on this battery, it still goes. It still wears out throughout the whole day, even if you don't do anything with the phone, because the battery is so bad. If you put any small demand, you press the home button, you go to take a picture, goes the battery. It just dies. And that's exactly how I feel. I feel like if I exert any physical energy during the day, walking, going upstairs, carrying anything, it drains my battery really fast. By the end of the day, especially a work day, I feel like my body aches with exhaustion. Part of me feels like, oh my gosh, I'm overreacting. Like I see all these other pregnant mothers of singletons who are doing great, and this is for me, regular me, not a whole lot of physical activity, but for pregnant me, everything is exhausting. The most recent symptom I've experienced is what I think is called round ligament pain or discomfort or whatever, something round ligament. I've been experiencing discomfort, pressure, pain in my back and my sides. So sometimes if I sit down and then stand up, my back will spasm and then I'll feel like I'm gonna lose my balance and can't balance on either foot because my back hurts so bad. Just randomly out of nowhere, I'll get pangs of pain in my sides. It's been in my right and my left. And from what I read, it just seems like those are considered growing pains. Everything's stretching out. You got to make room for the babies. It makes sense to me that I would have a little bit of discomfort in my sides and in my back. Those were all of my pregnancy symptoms. That's all I've really experienced up until now. I had symptoms in the first trimester, symptoms in the second. Like I said, some have just stayed with me and some have gone away and some have surfaced. Now I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I'm looking at 17 weeks pregnant. I don't know if you call this a symptom or not, but I started showing early. It's not really a symptom, but something that I noticed. I thought I was just like getting round real fast. I've never been one to carry my weight in my stomach. I'm not skinny by any means, but I always kind of just get wide. My hips get nice and wide. Not nice and wide. I don't know why I said that. My hips always get real wide if I'm gaining weight, but my stomach always stays flat. So I did notice around 9 weeks that my stomach was rounding out, and I thought that was kind of funny that this is so early for me to be showing. Now looking back, I realized that I started showing early because of the twins. Here I am, I'm about to show you how I'm looking at 17 weeks pregnant. Okay, so here I am. This is how I look from the side. Very round. And this week at 17 weeks, they are the size of pomegranates, or I think I've seen some other foods based on different apps, but one of my apps says pomegranates. So this is my 17-week baby bump. Now I'm gonna go ahead, take you around my house a little bit and show you some of the stuff we're working on. I'm gonna show you the room that will be the nursery. Then I'm gonna show you our basement so that you can follow the progress of our basement renovation. My husband is taking down the walls and going to take out the floor that we have now. He's gonna put up drywall, and then he's gonna put down some nice new flooring down there. So one of the last things I wanted to bring up was my plan for how long I want to work. I have a really nice part-time job out somewhere right now, and then 2 days a week I actually work from home. It's a nice setup that I have, but I can already see the days that I'm actually out working, I am worn out because it requires walking, going up and down stairs, and just being engaged all day. Like I said before, I ache at the end of the day with feeling so tired. I don't think I'm gonna last there much longer. So right now I'm 17 weeks. I'm thinking I'm gonna last at my job until maybe about 25 weeks. If I can make it to 25 weeks, that would be great. So that's gonna put me mid-August. It might end up being before then, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna be able to last there much longer because I'm only gonna get bigger, I'm only gonna get more tired, and it's hard as it is now to really make it to the end of the day with any energy left in the tank. One more exciting milestone that I noticed and forgot to include in this video was when I actually started feeling the babies move. Around 16 weeks, I felt something that I thought, oh my gosh, is this movement? Are these babies moving? I know they're moving, but was I feeling them? It was pretty early to feel the babies, especially as a first-time mom. I don't know what I'm feeling for. Around 16 weeks, I started feeling very predictable, noticeable little pops in my stomach, and I actually felt them in 2 different places where the babies are located. It always happened whenever I would lay down and pull the covers over me. I would be really mindful of how they felt. They weren't feelings that I had ever felt before, and it's been happening every day. I look forward to whenever I get to lay down and pull the blanket up so I can just feel the little kicks. I feel pretty confident now that that is what I'm feeling because it's so predictable and it's very consistent. So I have been feeling the babies. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and please subscribe to this channel, Blue ×2. I'm gonna be posting a lot of pregnancy updates. I'll be posting at least 1 time a week of my weekly bump update, and then I'll also be posting some other videos of what we're doing with the house, the nursery, other things that come up in life because there's a lot going on right now. Thanks again for watching. I look forward to seeing everybody in the next video.